God bless you all. And this is some interesting scripture that was written hundreds of years. Hi.
Could I ask you something?
Please, yeah.
Yeah, but so this is as like I used to go to church.
What?
I used to go to church.
You used to go to
I used
church?
Yeah,
Okay.
I used to go to church. But the so but and I no longer believe.
Okay.
But like one thing that like got sort of bothered me was, and I'm not trying to like geek about it or whatever. It's not. I'm not interested in that. But I just because you're full of zeal and it's nice to passionate people.
Thanks, man.
But like how like if you're born in India, you'd probably be a Hindu, and if you were born in Afghanistan, you'd probably be a Muslim.
Yeah.
How do you reflect on that?
That's a great question. The question's like, what about those that aren't born in, like, let's say America, where you can, it's maybe more easily accessible, Christianity, and maybe many other countries too. Like, you're born in India. What about those people? Well, there's scripture on that. Actually, I talked a little bit earlier about that the heavens declare the glory of God. So there's still something speaking on the Creator. And it might even just start there, where you may not have the story of Jesus yet. So someone born in India doesn't have to start saying Jesus instead of everything else I'm hearing, if it's Hindu or Buddhism. It may not start there. It may just start with an acknowledgement saying there's a Creator, there's a God here. And then what happens is there's more scripture. It says, he who has, to him more will be given. So if you're showing any acknowledgement towards God, if you're praying to God saying, I want more answers, I want more understanding, he will give it to you. And that's why there's missionaries all over the world. If you show some understanding, acknowledgement to the Lord, he will provide ways for someone to hear the saving gospel of Jesus.
But you know what I mean? But there'll be like if Christianity is true, then you looked out by you haven't earned. You were born presumably in America.
Yeah.
And so you were like bathed in it all. So it was very likely that you'd become Christian, but it's very unlikely that someone in like Chennai or whatever will become a Christian. And that doesn't seem fair.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, there's an argument the other way. I feel like today's culture so much actually makes it even more difficult. Even if someone has heard of Jesus, the lifestyle and the way of life we have here in the States and other places, it's so modern. And the ways of the world really do kind of go in opposite direction now, especially with Christianity, that even if someone hears the gospel in America, some of these people, it might be an example, it still might be difficult for them to fully accept him, to fully give their life to him. Whereas I believe, I know in my heart that anybody in any other country, even if it's less developed, if they show acknowledgement to the Creator, there will be revelation. There will be more revelation to the point of them receiving the gospel from a missionary, from anywhere online these days. I mean, who isn't getting a message online via social media? And I think sometimes there might be less persuasion from the world if you're in a lesser developed country. So that would be my answer. I think that it just depends. It's not gonna be easy for anybody.
I hear what you're saying.
Thank you. Thanks.
I hear what you're saying, but like I'm thinking that like if we can just admit.
Thank you.
That if someone born elsewhere, that depending on where you're born, increases the likelihood or changes the likelihood by which you become a Christian.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't seem fair.
Well, I appreciate this conversation. Please don't go. I would say yes, the likelihood, possibly, but I would say with God all things are possible. So I think for anyone who's going to show acknowledgement, it'll still happen. I really believe in that. I think that there might be like a higher probability of someone hearing the gospel in America, but maybe there's more difficulties of the world that might pull them, from wanting to give their life to God, because they have to give up their worldly life. It's difficult, but it might be more difficult for someone to hear the gospel in developing countries, but it might be easier for them to come in humility to God. So it's just going to depend. But with God, I think all things are possible. I don't think there's anyone that God won't reach if they show acknowledgement to him.
I know. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, brother. What's your name?
My name's Tom. This is something that always
Thanks, dude. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for coming. Any other questions?
No, it's good.
All right, brother. Okay. Well, I'll be praying for Tom. Appreciate this question. I would have liked to have spoken with him a little bit more about. He said he grew up Christian, or he was a Christian, a believer, and he's no longer a believer, and that's too bad. But I'll have to be praying for him. Tom,